Hello, welcome to your Android user interface session number 7. So in the last session we had studied about linear layout and some of the properties of linear layout and how to build a view using different linear layouts and how to provide them weights so that they occupy different areas on the screen. So in this session we'll use all the elements that we've studied till now about linear layouts, about views, and how to provide weights, padding, margin, and we'll try to do an exercise which will be something similar to this screen shown here. So the exercise is to design a screen by using all attributes of linear layout. So here we have an image and there is a text underneath that image, and there are some form fields like name, email, password, age, mobile number, address, and then there is a button here of sign up. So this is your normal sign up screen that you find in most of your apps. So we'll try to design something like this in our exercise today. So let's move to the Android Studio and let's try to create that view here. So let's remove the code here and let's start out afresh. So we don't need a padding here for now. We don't need the color here for now. We just need a simple linear layout. So here we've defined a simple linear layout with width as match parent and height as match parent, and the orientation is vertical. So now if we go back to our exercise, so our screen contains an image view and then a text. So then we define an image view here in Android Studio. So let's define an image view. Here it is, image view. So let's define the width as 100 dp and height also as 100 dp. And let's pick up the image from the source. src is the property name for where you need to pick up the image from, and mipmap is the folder which can be used to pick the image from. So let's pick the default image here, that is the IC launcher. Also, if you notice here in our exercise, the screen background has a blue color. So let's introduce a blue color in our linear layout. So background color folder, and in that we can select primary dark, which will be almost the same color that we have shown in the exercise screen. So if you want to change the color, then you can do so by clicking on this and opening the color, and this is the color code window where you can change your color. So you can create it, you can actually set it accordingly, and let's set it here approximately here, and let's choose it and go back to the main. So you see the difference is there for the color. Also, if we look at our screen here, the image view has a white background, so we need to apply a white background here. So we can use background. So if you notice that the there is a white background, so but the issue here is that in our colors, the by default colors, we do not have a white background here. Oh, sorry, the white color. So either we define a white color here or we use the static code. But normally we should not use a static code. We don't recommend using a static code. It's better that you define your colors and then use it for your in your code. So if a color is not there, not defined in our Android Studio, so what we can do in that case is we can pick up the default color from the Android. So how to do that? We first use Android and then use color / white. So now the background for your image has turned white. The reason is that we have defined a default color from Android, not the color folder. So here we have the color folder which contained the color primary dark, but the color folder did not have a white color. So in that case we have used the Android and you've used the color as white. So Android has a white color in it, so that is why it is taken, the background color has taken the color white. So this is how to use the color file for Android. So Android has a default color file. So if we do not have a color in our color folder, we can use the default color file in built-in Android. So the colors that are defined in Android are already defined in the SDK that is provided in the Android Studio. So this is the reason why, because sometimes the color folder may not have a proper color or may not have the color that we want. So we can use the default colors defined in the Android's SDK. So here, if we go back to our exercise screen, so now we've inserted our image view and we need to add our text. So to add the text, we need to add the text view. But here, if you see, the text is divided into 2 lines. So in normal cases, it would appear that we need to use 2 text views, but that is not the case. We can use only one text view, and let me show you how. So for this, let's use text view, and the width can be kept as match parent and the height is wrap content. So after this, to add a text, we need the attribute text. So here is the attribute text, and to add the text we can write, we need to write our text, which is welcome, and after that the text is create your account to continue. So create your account to continue. So this text should not be hard coded, should not be static. So that is why we need to extract this using the extract string resource. Here we go and click on extract string resource, and we put in a file name strings.xml. If that strings.xml exists, then it will show you an error. So then we need to change the file name. So for example, here it's showing me an error that string.xml is existing. So let me just type in some other name for the file and click OK. And so now we've added to the resource. So this is no longer a static string. We've added to the added our content to the string folder. So here, if you see that the text is not readable because of the color. So we need to define the white color like we've defined here, and we need to define it as the text color. So we need to use the text color property or attribute, and we need to supply it with this. So now as soon as we supply it with the white color, the text becomes legible or readable. So now if we need to align the elements in the center of the screen. So for that we can use gravity. So gravity, this is the for gravity for linear layout, and we can use center. So as soon as we use gravity attribute and supply it with the center value, the elements become center line. And here if we just use a horizontal value, so here you will notice that the image has become center line but the text is not. So the reason is that the width of the text view is match parent. So here is the text view and the width is match parent. So that is why it has not aligned itself as in center. So in order to do that, we need to define gravity in the text view as well. So let's define gravity. Gravity and center. So as soon as we do this, the text becomes center line. So here if we see that now there is no space between these two elements, but in our exercise file there is some space between image view and the text view. So for that what we can do is we can put some margin between the two elements by using margin top and around 16 dp. So by putting 16 dp as margin top value, there we have introduced a space in between the two elements. So now what we need to do is we need to divide the content of this line into two. So in order to do that, we need to go into the string. So here we go into the string, and here we need to introduce a new line operator, which is introduced by /n and space. So if we go back to your code here, now you can see that the text is divided into two lines. So if we go back to our original exercise screen, so here we have we need to use edit text views for name, email, password, age, mobile number and address, and then we have a sign up button. So if you notice here that inside of each of the text views, the edit text, we have an image and a hint also. So we'll be using all these elements inside the edit text view. So let's go back to our Android Studio and see how it is done. So now here we have the text view and we need to introduce an edit text view. So edit text, keep width as match parent, and height as wrap content. And after this we'll just add a background color to this. So let's add a white color again. So this will give a background color to our edit text view, but as you can see, the edit text view's height is not proper. It does not seem enough. So the reason is that because we have provided a wrap content value to the layout height. So we need to provide a standard 40 dp height for the layout as the layout height in order to provide a normal size to the edit text view. And the default value for height in the edit text is 40 dp. So that is why we have used 40 dp as the height. Then we'll have to introduce a hint inside. So we can use hint, and the hint here was name. So now here we have an icon next to the name. So how to introduce that icon? So basically there are two types of image icons. One is a vector image icon and the other is a normal JPG or a PNG image icon. So Android Studio provides both of them, and let's see how to use them. So to use the inbuilt images within the Android Studio, we need to go into the drawable folder, which can be found here. Click on the drawable, right click on the drawable folder, go to new, and here we have image asset and vector asset. So if we click on image asset, we'll find the different sizes according to our folders. If you remember, we had different mipmap folders according to various resolutions. So each resolution is found here: MDPI, HDPI, XHDPI, XX HDPI, and XXX HDPI. And here, from here, if you click on the clip art icon here, you'll find all the image files that are inbuilt in the Android Studio. So you can select any one of them and select the resolution that you want to use, and you can use it in your screen. But we are not going to use these image assets. We are going to use the vector asset. So if you go into the vector asset, so you can choose your vector icon from here, and here you can see all the icons, vector icons that are available in Android Studio. And here you can select any icon according to your field name, or wherever you want to use it. You can use the appropriate icon. Here are the categories if you want to just navigate through the categories and not navigate through all the icons. So you can just sort the icons or filter the icons according to their category. We need a user icon. So let's see if we have something similar here. If not, then I think this will be a similar icon to what we are looking for. So we can rename this icon as user, and whenever we save this icon, it will be saved in the drawable folder, and the image files that we use, they'll be saved in the map folder, and the vector icons will be saved in the drawable folder. So after renaming this icon, we can click next, and it will show you the path, the resource folder, the drawable folder, and then the icon, and we can click. So it is showing me that this there is an existing file with the same name. So what we can do is we can change the name here as ICUser1 and finish. So now the error has gone. So now we can finish, and this icon gets added to the drawable folder. So if we go into the drawable folder, so here we can see our icon. But if you look closely, if you notice that the icon, the color of the icon is black, while here the icon color is gray. So to change the color, we need to click here, and the color pop-up window will open, and we can set the color as a little grayish, little gray, and this will show up here. So this is a little extra gray, so let's put in some dark color to it, and this color looks okay. And now we'll use this icon in the edit text. So to use the icon here, we'll have to use a new property which is called drawable. So there are many drawables here, drawable property, drawable left, drawable bottom, drawable end, start. So we need to use the drawable left property, and choose the folder, and we have our icon user1. So as soon as we select user1, we see the icon appears in the edit text. And to provide some space in between the hint and the icon, we can use a property called drawable padding, and introduce 5 dp of space. So the space between the hint and the icon has increased because of drawable padding. Also you can define the input type here, because this is the edit text view, so there will be an input. So you can define the input type as text person name, because this is the name text field, edit text field. So we can keep it as input text file, and we just copy this edit text and paste it. So we have 2 views now, and we can introduce space in between by using margin bottom, let's say 3 dp, and same here, and this will be margin top 3 dp. So here we can also introduce a margin top space for this, and we can say 15 dp, so it will give you a space of 15 dp from the top view as well. And in between, let's say we increase the space here and keep it as 15, so now it will be equal spacing from this view and this view. So we can introduce either margin bottom space on the top view and margin top space on the bottom view, or we can just keep margin top for this view for the spacing from the top of the view, and same margin top spacing for the bottom view from its view that is directly above it. So this edit text, the second edit text view here is not a is an email type. It's not a name input field, so that is why we can change the hint from here to email, and the input type also we can change from this to text email address. So we have text email address here, so that will be the input type. Here, as you can see, the views are touching the edges here and on the right and the left side. So for that we need to provide padding of 25 dp around, or 24 dp. So adding padding of 24 dp gives some space from the edges. Now this looks more symmetric than before. So the next view is password. So for password we can just copy this view here and paste it here. So the hint will be password, but the input type will be not text email but input password, text password. So this will make sure that your password is not visible while typing text password. So the next fields are age and mobile number. So here if you see that there are two views aligned side by side horizontally. So for this what we require is a different linear layout. So we need to define that here. So linear layout. So width would be match parent, and height would be wrap content. So now in this we'll add edit text. Edit text. So before doing that, if we look at our exercise screen, so here the two views need to be set along the width. So the orientation needs to be 0 dp because we are aligning it along the width. The gravity needs to be aligned along the width. So that is why making the width as 0 dp, and height can be set as 40 dp, and then we need to set the weight. Layout weight 1. So 1, if both have 1, then it will be 50-50 area being distributed between the two. So also we can set the background here, where Android Android color white. So this will change your background color to white, and this is your new edit text view inside the next linear layout, the second linear layout. So if we need to set the hint as well, so we set the hint as age, hint as age. So here we don't have an image, so icon, so we need to supply it with a with some padding, which we can do by using the padding attribute, and padding left, and the value can be 8 dp. So as age is an input type as a number, so the input type defined here should be a number, which is here. So here also in this view, let's put in a margin top, so that there is equal space here. And also we can set the orientation property as horizontal. So if we just copy paste this edit text view here again, so it will generate a new view which is adjacent to this earlier edit text. And the second edit text is a mobile number. So here the hint will be mobile NO number, and for adding the space in between these two views, we can use the space element, which will be space. So the width we can supply it as 8 dp, 8 dp here, and the height can be match parent. So this will add a space between the two views here, age and mobile number. The input type can be changed from number to phone. So here it is, phone. So the next element is the address field. So we can add the address field here by using this edit text field. So we don't require a drawable here because this does not have an icon. The hint is also address, and we don't require, we can just supply it with a padding. So padding left needs to be used. Also we've increased the height. The layout height is 75 dp, and this because the address field can be large, so the address can contain 3 to 4 lines, so that is why the size needs to be large. And this is not a text input, a normal, we can use normal text input here as well. So padding here is 8 dp, and input type can be text, can be, there is another input type for address which can be text postal address, so we can use this as well, text postal address. So now let's add a button after this, which will be as be button width match parent, height will be, let's say, 30 dp, and let's give the button a text by using, before text, let's give it a background color which will be white, and the now we can add the text to this, which can be a sign up button, sign up text, which will be a sign up button here, and we can introduce a margin because it's touching the top view, the address view there, margin top as 24 dp, 24 dp. So this is how we introduce the button element also. So we've increased the height of the button from 30 to 40 just to make it similar to the other elements here. So now we need to, what we need to do is change the icons for each view here. So for the email, where we are assigning IC user 1, what we can do is we need to go into the drawable folder, new, vector asset, choose, let's see if we have, so we need to browse through this and see if we can find an email type icon. This can suffice as the email type icon here for now. We can use this, and we can change the name to email and click next. So it's already existing inside, so let's see if we can use that here. So here we have the email icon, and we can just use this directly. Sorry, we've used it in the wrong place. We need to use it in the next view here. So we can use user 1 here, and this is the email icon. So here we can use the email icon. The password icon will be a lock icon, so just removing here and using the lock icon here. So this will almost complete our view that we had to create. If you see this, we have an image view, then we have a normal text view, then we have edit text views with icons, and this was a second linear layout used to introduce two text views, edit text views side by side, and then we had a button view. So that is what we have created using the XML code here. So this is how we have used linear layouts, we have used gravity, we have used padding, margin, and various elements that can be used like the image view, text view, edit text views, and how to provide padding and what to keep in mind during the orientation, when to give horizontal orientation and when to give vertical orientation. So all of these things that we have covered today basically covers all the is the summation of um, the all the 6 sessions that we've covered till now. So this was a very important exercise in this course, because this exercise covered almost all the elements that we have covered till now, and we have also introduced some new elements in this, and how to add colors, in a in the background if we do not have colors defined in our XML file. So how to add colors there. So all these things that we have covered, you will be using a lot during this course, and it's very important for you to understand all these elements here. So if you have any questions, then do write into us, and that's it for now, and hopefully let's see you in the next session.